Hello, my beautiful people. I'm here again this night. I'm going to be talking about how Iran will never forget the outcome of this war. How the US is set, apart from they said they are negotiating with Iran, they are negotiating in Pakistan, and Trump has said twice that Iran has sent him a very great gift. But Trump has gone ahead again to send get some of his military to, they've landed in Iran right now. And he wants to take over Karga land. At the same time, he wants to open the Straits of Homouz. And Iran has done everything possible to deter the US and to deter Israel from, fighting them. And at the end of the day, Iran has even escalated the war to other neighboring countries in the Arab Middle East. But the US is still pushing back, and they have taken some of their soldiers to Iran right now and to Karga land, about thousands of their soldiers, and they are set to make sure they cut off power. I think as at now, power has been cut off from Iran. Iran is in total darkness, and to block a lot of amenities from Iran, so that they'll be forced to open the Straits of Hormuz. Just watch this video. From this video, you'll be able to understand how far the US and the Israeli has gone in this war concerning making Iran to submit to their terms of coming to an end, to bringing the war to an end. Just watch the war.
7 American B-2 bombers dropped the 14 30,000-pound each bombs on Iran's key nuclear facility.
Blessed with the strongest and most powerful military in the history of the world.
This is America first. This is peace through strength. And the United States War Department is proud to help deliver. America is back.
Amid escalating tensions in the Strait of Hormuz, Karg Island emerges as a decisive strategic objective. Located about 25 kilometers off Iran's coastline, the island serves as the core of the country's oil export system. Approximately 85 to 95% of Iran's crude oil exports are processed here, with a capacity of around 7 million barrels per day and storage exceeding 30 million barrels. More than a transfer point, Karg is directly connected to offshore oil fields through an extensive pipeline network. Crucially, its surrounding deep waters allow ultra-large oil tankers to dock, an advantage not available along most of Iran's shallow coastline. Positioned near a maritime route that carries nearly 20% of the world's oil supply, Karg becomes an irreplaceable strategic choke point. When in this context, the island represents not only economic value, but a key factor capable of shaping control over the entire Strait of Hormuz. As Karg is identified as a critical objective, U.S. forces rapidly initiate a large-scale deployment operation. Aboard amphibious ships and forward staging areas, Marine units assemble into formation, preparing for the assault phase. At the same time, armored vehicles, heavy equipment, and logistical assets are continuously loaded and positioned for transport toward the target area. Mechanized units are deployed via ramp systems, ensuring rapid offloading capability upon reaching the island. All movements follow a tightly coordinated process, reflecting a well-planned operational and strategic level campaign. At this stage, forces are no longer simply staging. They are fully prepared to transition into ground deployment, setting the foundation for direct control of Karg Island. As the operation enters the approach phase, U.S. naval forces begin advancing toward Karg Island in coordinated formations. On deck, units maintain a high state of readiness, reflecting strict discipline and operational tempo before entering the combat phase. At sea, amphibious and escort vessels move in formation, maintaining tactical spacing while controlling the surrounding maritime space. On the strategic map, multiple approach routes are clearly defined, indicating a multi-axis advance converging toward the objective, rather than a single-direction assault. From an aerial perspective, the naval formation expands into a coordinated presence, gradually tightening its perimeter. This phase establishes maritime control and secures safe corridors, directly preparing for the amphibious landing on Karg Island. With naval forces securing the approach, the amphibious landing phase officially begins. From within the landing ship, amphibious armored vehicles are deployed one by one, moving across ramps and directly into the water. Under precise coordination, each vehicle exits in sequence, quickly forming mechanized elements along the approach toward the island. Crew teams maintain communication and navigation control, ensuring speed and synchronization across the force. This is not an isolated landing. It marks the transition into ground control through mechanized deployment. At this stage, forces have moved beyond approach and are establishing direct presence on Karg Island. Following the initial landing wave, reinforcement units are deployed at high tempo. Across the sea, landing craft and fast-moving vessels advance in extended formations, continuously heading toward the island. The pace remains relentless, ensuring no gaps in force insertion into the operational area. In the rear, large amphibious ships continue transporting vehicles and heavy equipment, forming a seamless logistical chain from offshore to the battlefield. The entire system operates as a continuous flow, steadily increasing force density around Karg Island. This phase marks the expansion of the operation, where forces not only land, but begin to establish numerical and operational dominance across the maritime approach. Following successive landing waves, mechanized forces move onto the shoreline and rapidly establish formation on the ground. Amphibious armored vehicles transition directly from sea to land, securing initial control points along the beachhead. Behind them, landing ships continue delivering additional equipment and vehicles, reinforcing force density on the island. Simultaneously, support units and firepower assets are deployed, gradually expanding control from the coastline inland. Overhead, helicopters maintain continuous operations, providing aerial support and surveillance for ground forces. This phase marks the transition from landing to establishing a forward operating foothold, where forces begin to build a stable and organized presence on Karg Island. After establishing a beachhead, forces begin advancing deeper into Karg Island. Mechanized units move inland from the landing zone, forming assault formations and expanding control across key areas. Infantry units coordinate with armored vehicles, securing positions and controlling strategic points along the advance. In the rear, additional reinforcements continue to land, sustaining the operational tempo. Coordination between units allows forces to advance while simultaneously consolidating captured ground. This phase marks a clear transition from initial presence to active territorial control, as key areas across the island are gradually brought under structured command. As forces advance deeper into the island, mechanized units and firepower assets begin establishing control over key operational areas. Tanks and armored vehicles deploy in formation, securing main routes and strategic zones. The dense presence of mechanized forces reflects a clear establishment of dominance on the ground. At this stage, the operation moves beyond landing and approach, transitioning into sustained control and long-term presence. Critical areas are gradually stabilized, forming an organized control structure across Karg Island. With control over the primary energy export hub, the strategic balance in the region rapidly shifts. As Karg is no longer under its original control, the feasibility of maintaining a blockade in the Strait of Hormuz begins to collapse. When the energy hub is controlled, the outcome is no longer defined by intent, but by realities on the ground.